Okay, we're now looking at the My Trades screen, which is the last of our tabs on the My Energy overall screen. Now, this one allows us to drill down a bit more into actual trades. So we can see here, if we have a look at my activity across the day, we've got a solar only site, selling a lot of the solar peer-to-peer during the day. And then in the evening, bit of purchase here, bit of attempted purchase around there. So we can now drill down into the actual structure of each of these trades. So at this point, we can look at the fact that there is a trade and how much is happening in that single 5-minute interval. But if we want to kind of zoom out a little bit on each trade and look at their intraday structure, we can now go to the My Trade screen. So the green lines or the green graphs are the offers or my sells, and the orange color is where I've purchased. And then these are all actual match trades. So these are ones where I've sold and found a buyer, and these are ones where I've actually agreed to buy. And then down at the bottom, we'll have this My Open Orders section, which may or may not appear depending on if you have any open orders. In this case, I've got 2 purchases, and this is what's left in each. So these are what we call standing in the market. So this is going back into mid-September. So they're not going to trade now, but at the time they were the remainder of what was standing in the market, which meant it was a purchase that didn't immediately fill, but was then left standing. So if any other trades came in which would meet the criteria, they could fill that.
And if that doesn't fill, that presumably goes to spot.
That's right. Any and that's what we see on the graph here. That so this light green section here, or this grey section here, this is all being settled at spot. So just looking at the structure of the trade, we can see here, sort of without too much surprise, that the solar trades are happening more or less in the middle of the day. The purchase is going to reflect not just the actual export, but also on the consumption side, what people wanted to buy. So, for example, this customer maybe had solar themselves, and so they were buying the bit that they didn't generate either side of it. Most of these, or just depending on which customer, depending on where they are in the overall network, in the grid, the trade might look cheaper to one rather than the other. There's also the who got in first element to it. You can see here that I've sold to probably 25 different counterparties at different times of the day, different amounts here. So we can see on the left here the overall volume sold to each one. This is our simulation system, so everyone's Bob here, but this would normally be names of regular people that I've sold to. These are fairly small trades. That's a little bigger, 1 kilowatt hour across the day, 1.2. We've got, this is the biggest one, so we've sold 3 kilowatt hours across the day, mostly sort of in the middle of the day, and I've sold that at 8 cents per kilowatt hour. So a reminder, this was back in September. Prices, in terms of what price you might be able to sell at, or what you might expect to buy at, it's going to vary across times of the year. There's no set rule. It's going to vary depending on what people decide to sell at. In this case, I've sold at 8 and found some buyers. And then on the flip side, in the evening, there's a couple of purchases here up at around 28-30 cents per kilowatt hour in the evening, and that's that.
So I noticed that buy price is 28.1 something. What would you have set your buy? Have you set a buy limit there and it's come under, or?
So the way the buy and sell prices work is that the seller sets the price, the buyer, either if it's a manual buy, like you're actually doing it as you look at it, you can then look at the price and choose to accept it. But otherwise, if it's a standing trade in the market or a renewal generated trade, it will have a price cap, which means it will buy anything under that cap that fits the criteria. The purchase price is the price at which the trade appears to the buyer, which may be slightly different to the sale price, just given the network effect. So we saw in a different occasion this network where we've got people all over the grid. There's some going through interconnectors, etc. The price is adjusted basically where they are physically on the grid. So what that means is a price of probably 28 cents has appeared to me as 28.1904 cents. And that's a combination of loss factors and other factors in terms of my location in the grid that's then made that price equivalent of the sale price at the place they're selling it.
Understood.
So you do sometimes see buy prices with quite a lot of decimal places. I mean, there's nothing stopping me setting a sell price with some crazy precision, but generally people choose round numbers for selling. But very often the buy prices will look a little bit adjusted for that reason.
And you seem to have settled on 8 cents as a sweet spot for your sell price. Is there a reason for that?
Just at this price, at the time, a bit of price discovery. I mean, you can see here, it was mostly selling. So that was just a price at which it seemed to mostly sell, which was also a fairly healthy price for solar at the time.
So finding that price was a bit of trial and error through a few rounds of perhaps setting up sell offers.
Yeah, it can be, and it can be quite seasonal. For example, we're now in January. I doubt we'll probably sell much at 8 cents in January, but in September it was selling. So yeah, it can be a bit of a price discovery process, and it can also vary quite a lot day to day. It really does depend on who's out buying. You might find you sell it all one day and not nearly as much the next day. So yeah, you can certainly set. And we'll talk about this in the selling video, but you can certainly set multiple prices if you want to test at different levels too.
Okay, and what can we see when we drill down into these trades?
Yeah, so as you pointed out, each trade has this little arrow next to it. So we'll take the larger one. So if I want to see what's actually a bit more detail on this trade, we can explore the trades with this counterparty. And this is the one trade I've got, because the previous view is actually a per counterparty view. So there could be more than one trade in that line. It's summed up per counterparty. And this is drilling down into this actual trade. So here's the trade. It was across 3 days, and there's various. So scrolling through it will show me the counterparties at each 5 minutes. You can see it's varying quite a lot through the trade. Sometimes I'll have just one counterparty. Sometimes I'll have 3. So every 5 minute interval is effectively matched separately. So I could be selling to someone at 12 to 12:05, and then completely different person at 12:05 to 12:10. So it really just depends on how the matching process works and how the bids and offers are. And then at a counterparty level, it's showing the percentage I've got. So this counterparty here got 29% of the trade. A few other sort of largish ones, and then this is all just small stuff, bits and pieces down here. So as I was saying on the My Energy one before, these trades are not necessarily a single trade. So this is every trade on that day I've done with this counterparty. That will be the sum of that. So these are all discrete counterparties, and this sell price will effectively be a low weighted average price across all the trades and the whole period.
And so if I'm trying to deal with one specific counterparty or within a community, this looks like a place where I can see exactly who I've sold to and how much. Is this how we use it?
Yeah, you certainly can. It's now, again, with all of these, each one of these tabs is kind of zeroing in on a particular aspect of the trade. And so I've actually switched back to today in January in this one. So we can see here there's a little bit of peer-to-peer selling going on. So this is great if I want to see in a 5-minute period what's happening. But then if I want to zoom out a little bit and look at the whole day and the structure of that trade across the whole day and all the counterparties I'm trading with across the day, that will give me this information.